Now that you've collected a rich set of notes from the capture phase and organized them into projects or areas, there's one more step that's important to take before you can use them in your projects. We have to distill our notes down to their essence. Distilling information is usually the missing link in people's PKM practice. Many of us have an intuitive sense that we need to capture things and organize them and then express them to the world, but few of us think about how we need to stop collecting new things and compress all of the information into its most potent form. In this video, I'm going to be introducing you to a method of note design called Progressive Summarization. Progressive Summarization allows you to make the essential information of your notes more discoverable and actionable. It's a 5-stage process, and at each stage you compress the essential information from a text. In the 5th and final stage, you remix those insights into a new context. For example, you might have started with a note from an article, but after Progressive Summarization, you'll create a slideshow or even a video. Why is that helpful? Well, by doing this, you're actively engaging with the content, and this is helping you to learn more effectively. By reframing it in the final stage, you're also able to notice gaps in your understanding by approaching it from many angles. By noticing the gaps, you'll be able to fill in the blanks with your unique perspective, or have to go out and find more information. It's also powerful for overcoming the challenge of rediscovering important information when you start to amass hundreds and even thousands of notes. Let's dive in. Have a look at this note. It's kind of ugly, right? Nothing is standing out to me besides the long title, which makes me feel a little anxious. And I'm faced with this huge block of text which doesn't give me any indication of what the key points are. In this video, we're going to process it through the layers of progressive summarization to compress the essential information and make it stand out for your future self to find. We don't want to leave too many of our notes in this shape, or we'll have to read through the whole thing every time to see if it's relevant to our goals. Check out this note. This is exactly the same passage, but run through progressive summarization. The title is a kind of mini summary of the gist of the whole note. There's actually a summary at the top and highlights to show me the essential information. So next time I visit it, I can see what the source was and find the key insights. If I go over to the notes page here, you can see that there's different notes, but they're at different layers. This one says note taken, this one says highlighted, this one summarized. What does that mean? What are the different stages? Progressive summarization has 5 different layers or stages. Layer 1 involves taking the note and getting it into Notion. Layer 2 is starting to bold passages which stand out to you. Those are passages which are either surprising, inspirational, personal, or useful. Generally, I'm looking to bold about 30 to 40% of that note. From those long bolded sections, we're trying to get down to the essential 10 to 20% of the original note. We do this by highlighting even shorter sections that resonate with us. Now, this might sound slightly new age or touchy-feely, but it's often the best way to digest what you read. You want to avoid getting too analytical. Instead, pay attention to how the words affect your inner experience. You can also focus on the words and phrases which hold up the meaning of the paragraph. If you read over the highlights and you seem to lose some essential meaning, then you're not highlighting enough, or it isn't relevant to your search or the questions that you're bringing to this note. Once you can read over and get the gist of your note with the highlights, then you move on to layer 4, which is to create a mini summary. You can create your mini summary by bringing all of the highlights to the top of the note. This gives you an overview of this note. What you want to do now is to string together those highlights using your own words to fill in the gaps. The final layer, layer 5, is a remix. This means turning it into a new context, such as a social media post, article, or slideshow. Look at this diagram. What I want to do is think of another context that I can share these ideas in. Maybe it's a social media post, maybe it's a slideshow, or maybe you're going to write a screenplay about how a young boy learned to talk to dolphins. When you've decided what context you're going to create, start sketching it out and consider sharing it with your friends, colleagues, or with the internet to get feedback. Here's an example of a social media post I made about how to talk to dolphins. Some important things to make note of. Firstly, not all your notes will reach layer 5. The majority will probably stay below layer 2, and that's okay. Secondly, it's often best to do progressive summarization over intermittent work sessions, and not to go through all the layers in one work session. The reason for this is that often by going away and working on another layer on a different day, you'll actually let the information sink in, and you'll come back being able to zero in on the relevant information much better or you might connect this information to something important, such as an upcoming project, which will change the frame of mind as you begin to interact with your notes. Your task is simply to turn one of your notes into a level 5 note and remix it. If you want, you can share it with the group in the comments below, or you can share it on social media or with your friends. And that's an overview of progressive summarization. In the video using the Notion web clipper in Knowledge Hub, I captured a second article about landing page layouts. I wanted to make a resource from that to use it in all of my future website projects. So in the next video, I'll be showing you how to create a resource from the information that you capture in the Knowledge Hub.